entrepreneur, national speaker, philanthropist, one of America's top trial attorneys, and is the chief visionary officer of Unblinded. And though he is blind, he is here to unblind us in integrity through micro distinctions, how we can all go from hello to yes in any role we play in life. And leaders can influence leaders and make the world a more heart-centered and amazing place. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, guys. So thank you so much. And we're all unblinding each other, including me getting unblinded by each of you and your incredible awesomeness. So Lorelei, let's drop in, please, with our amazing participants and guests.
Okay, so first of all, we have Selena Moon. Selena Moon is a gifted intuitive with a knack for bridging the gap between spirituality and practicality. As the CEO of her own company, Selena has been using ancient wisdom tools and her own inner guidance system to assist people in fulfilling their happiest, healthiest lives over the past 7 years. She does this by tweaking energetic frameworks to support harmony and balance in accordance with the laws of the universe. By using her background in NLP, energy healing, etc., she's passionate about seeing the new world come to light and has a desire to assist individuals and groups to step into their true, authentic lives and purpose. Welcome.
Hey, Selena, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And where are you coming from today?
British Columbia.
Oh my goodness, Canada is in the house like nonstop. What part of BC?
Sorry?
I said, what part of British Columbia?
In West Kelowna.
Oh, very, very cool. How far is that from Vancouver?
4-hour drive.
Whoa, how about from Whistler?
Sorry?
How far from Whistler?
Oh, I don't even know. It's a great question. I've been traveling for the last 2 years, so I stay in a place for about 3 months, and then I go to the next place. So I'm still kind of getting.
Awesome. How about a fun fact? Aside from the fact that you've been traveling every 3 months around the world, how about a fun fact, Selena?
In my email to Lily, I said that I grew up in an East Indian family, and I learned how to master an Indian accent, and I bust that out wherever I please to just shock people and make people laugh, and it's pretty funny.
That's when, would you like to bust out your East Indian accent?
I don't know if this is the right place.
Okay. Thank you, Selena. We have fun on the Real Raw. Amazing. Yes. So, but wait, Lorelei, we have more.
We do. And we have the one, the only, my friend, my person I love, Robert Fulton. Robert started Arcade Publishing and published 45 authors' books the past 3 years. When not mediating.
That's a lot of books, dude.
Oh,
45 books. That's a lot. Yeah, Laura.
I know. when not meditating like a monk, Robert teaches by writing, creating courses, speaking, and hosting live masterminds and events. And now is the COO of Unblinded. Welcome.
Thank
Robert
you.
Fulton, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Pleasure to be here. I love everyone's face, a lot of smiles. Eric, I love those biceps. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So dude, 45 books. I don't think I knew that about you. Like every day I learn more things about your like Yoda monkness. So yeah, like what's that?
Yeah, that's our Arcade Publishing, helping doctors publish lots of books. I sold that business now, so I'm just team Unblinded.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. I'll immensely appreciate you and your genius and all that you're up to in the world. And how about, besides the fact that you've published 45 books, a fun fact?
So my family, my lineage, we started the first string orchestra in Toronto. So that's a fun fact.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like we've like officially moved Unblinded to Canada, I think.
Brand, yeah, we started in Canada.
That's awesome, brother. Well, Robert, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Lorelei.
Okay, so now on to the judges. So we have an amazing judge, Roger McCohen. Roger is one of the top agriculture attorneys in the country. 4,000 viewers a day on his blog, and he does over 100 speaking engagements a year.
Wow.
Welcome, welcome.
Roger.
Thank you.
Immensely impressive, all that you're up to in the world. We met not long ago on Aurora Open, and the question is, So like what's present for you in the world of American farming, and like, what do you think the issues are that are on your heart to support that industry?
Well, the issues are cyclical in agriculture, and right now, particularly in dairy country, upstate New York, Wisconsin, and then in the plains for non-dairy, it's bankruptcy. The financial stress is pretty rough right now. And so we've had a number of packing plants that had at least temporary shutdowns because of the virus, and that has caused disruptions in the supply chain, and that resulted in milk getting dumped and cattle that couldn't get to market at the optimal time. And so a lot of ranchers lost money due to that. So the financial and the bankruptcy issues are huge in agricultural law right now. And of course, all of the tax changes, it's just a constant stream of changes since the beginning of, well, since March. It just seems to change every other week.
Wow. And you write extensively as well, right? 100 speaking engagements. You're a law professor, and you're a law professor where?
Washburn Law School, Topeka, Kansas.
And you also write extensively. You want to share a little bit about how much you write and produce and publish?
Yeah, in fact, I just, right before we came on, I just sent to the my print order in for the 47th edition of my treatise, which is used in law schools and undergraduate schools across the country, as well as CPA firms and law firms. And I have a 4-volume treatise that I'm the editor of for Thompson RIA, for estate planning for farmers and ranchers, and business organizations for farmers and ranchers. And then another nutshell book that's published by West Publishing Company, which is a major publisher for law schools. And there'll be another one of those coming. They just contacted me about a month ago to do another nutshell book for them on agricultural law. So those are the books that are out there. And I've written numerous Bureau of National Affairs tax management portfolios, which are kind of the Cadillac for the tax profession. And that's headquartered out of New York City, and they farm that work out. So I've done a number of those dealing with ag tax issues. And then, of course, the blog writing, which is about 130 technical articles a year. I've already cranked 2 of those out this week.
Oh my God.
That is
then the
crazy.
radio and TV. Yeah.
You may write and say more words than any human being in like America. That is unbelievable.
Sean, I got to jump in. Roger, I was going to make sure we use this fun fact, because not only does what you just said true, he sent me a picture of the book. I think it's 1,400 pages, and you rewrite it twice a year. Roger, is that
Yep.
correct? Twice
Yep.
a year he rewrites
Yep.
his.
This is a man.
Not the whole thing. It's just where there are updates, the new cases and new legislation that comes down, it has to be updated. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a man committed to innovation and optimization. So Roger, it's a pleasure, and thank you for being here.
Can I
Thank
just
you.
say, just hearing him talk, I'm a little bit intimidated now. So it looks like I got an appointment I got to run to.
Robert, you will be on the hot seat. Well, 45 books published over the last 3 years, 6 billion articles, pages, treatises, things. So there's some interesting dynamics alive in the real raw today. So Laura, back to you.
Okay, we have another amazing judge, Corey Saunders. Corey Saunders is an IBD group leader with Bammer USA. Their company improves the health and quality of life through increased circulation. Corey's background has been in sales for over 20 years, which he considers more of a people business. Welcome, welcome.
Corey, I have 2 Beamers. I have 2 Beamers in my house. So welcome.
Awesome. Yeah. I've never written a book. Maybe that's one fun fact. But it sounds like we have a pretty diverse little team here today. I come from sales, mostly in the automotive industry. Ran a car dealership until I realized that my family life balance was out of whack. Had a little divine intervention with an accident to my spouse, and was introduced to a company that really impacted our life, and thought, man, a product such as an automobile has never really done much on the personal side for me other than to create a paycheck. But I found something that really impacts people's lives and decided to venture off in a new chapter. So I'm in that transitional state from going to what I'm currently doing, which I help automotive dealers with their digital advertising to really impacting people's lives, dealing with the two biggest pain points, health and finances. So that's where I'm at.
All right, Corey. Well, welcome, brother. And physically, where are you in the world?
Just outside of Buffalo, New York.
All right. So like a lot of folks from the north. Cool. And Lorelei, but wait, there's more. And
There's more. So we also have the one and only Adam Gugino as our judge. Adam is Chief Revenue Officer of Unblinded, a master moneymaker. Built a company from zero in a 400 square foot empty warehouse to a team of 500, grew that company from 4 million to, are you ready? 750 million. Then walked away from millions to make Sean Callaghan's formula go global here at Unblinded. Welcome to you.
Adam, awesome, brother. And by the way, yes, please share your fun fact.
I will share a different fun fact. Well, I do love pickleball. I'll keep that going one way or another. Pickleball is my passion outside of everything we're doing here at Unblinded. Whistler, if we're going to stick with that theme, when I was at ADP board of directors, one of the 2 years that I was number one in the country, went out to Whistler as our President's Club board of directors trip. They hired I think I might have said this. What's her name? The singer. Oh, what's her name? Either way, Whistler, most incredible place in the world, even in the summer. Katy Perry, private concert with Katy Perry. And I know what it's like skiing, but Sean, the zip lining, the mountain biking, that place is beautiful any time of year. And I wanted to stick with the Canadian theme. So make sure you get there. So
yeah. For sure. Canada in the summer, I was about 100 feet from a bear, actually probably more like 200 feet from a bear and her cub, as I was on a ski slope in the summer in the grass with my son Tyler when he was about 10. So yes, I am definitely present to the beauty and amazingness of Canada. And like bears hang out. So it's super cool. And Adam, Adam, and just for perspective in the judging, Adam oversaw more than 50 million phone calls annually, 50 million amongst the 500 person team that he built from the ground up. And as well as being the company under his leadership, went in Inc. 500 magazine for 3 consecutive years as one of the top 100 fastest growing companies in America. So Adam Gugino, thank you so much, brother. And Lorelei, but wait, we have our role player.
We do, but before I have to chime in with my Canadian fun fact, please.
Yes.
So growing up in Canada, in Calgary.
More Canadians.
Actually, my friend Josh Pollock says, what's with all the Canadians? They're taking over. So we are. But one really amazing fun fact for me, living in Calgary as a kid, my next door neighbor, her dad would flood their backyard with water when it was the dead of winter. And we would skate on the grass that, formed ice, and we'd skate in the backyard and do all kinds of, we learned how to spin and skate backwards. And so that was amazing.
Lorelei, I'm from Calgary too. I grew up there myself and I used to be a figure skater.
This is crazy.
That's amazing.
That's so
Canada
cool.
all over the place. And finally, great job, Lorelei. We have
our role player, the one and only Eric Balance. So Eric Balance is an entrepreneur known as the Conscious Cash Flow Consultant. And guess where Eric's from? Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Thank you very much.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
We are taking over. So through years of market research, meditative practices around the world, and being a platinum partner with Tony Robbins, Eric Balance has become known as one of the rising direct response experts in the world. Eric is also the host of a wildly successful podcast, The Resilient Minds, where he interviews thought leaders around the planet on how their experiences have contributed to their purpose. So welcome.
Eric, what's up, brother?
What's going on, brother? How are you, Sean? How's
Hey,
everyone doing?
what's the latest measurement on your biceps?
I haven't checked, but you know what? Maybe I should.
Good.
They're probably the same size as my thighs. So
And by the way, Robert,
He
the other
has a
day,
cool beard too, by the way.
Robert jumps rope with a 25-pound rope. So that is extraordinarily. Eric jumps rope with a 25-pound rope. So Eric, awesome job. Fun fact, other than the fact that you jump rope with a 25-pound rope.
Yeah, so the rope is amazing. I did that live last time. And then I think, so since we're on the fact of Whistler, I'm really excited to, nail in back into some snowboarding when we hit it up there in March, Sean.
Yes.
For financial. Yes.
Well, I want to go to the top of Blackcomb Glacier with you, and let's tear it down, Blackcomb Glacier. I want you to be hooked up to my audio assist, right? For those that don't know that are watching out there, I'm blind. So Eric, with audio assist, we will shred Blackcomb Glacier. There's an amazing ice cave at the bottom of Blackcomb Glacier that not a lot of people know about. Maybe you do, but it's like kind of off the beaten track, and you can like slide into it. It's amazing, like a water slide into a cave through ice. Yeah, it's amazing. So,
dude, we're gonna shred it up. It's gonna be amazing.
Yes, absolutely will. So Lorelei, fantastic job. Thank you. Heart-centeredness as always. Lorelei, you're amazing. And of course, an elegant, amazing jewelry designer in the world, doing cool things in Los Angeles nonstop. And Lorelei, if somebody wants to get in contact with you, could you drop it in the chat? And also, how would they do that?
Sure. So if you're interested in my jewelry line is Bella Roche, BELLAROCHE, and that's bellaroche.com. Connect with me on Facebook, Lorelei Mariano, and thank you so much.
Yeah,
have a great.
And additional fun fact, Lorelei, we want to see you back on the Housewives in reality television because you are amazing, but more importantly, bring your life story to the big screen soon. So Lorelei, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So Eric, you ready, brother? We're going to drop in with some awesomeness today. And I think Robert Fulton knows the dealio. So I'm going to ask Robert to kick it off. And yeah, Selena unless Selena, actually, let's give you the option since you're an amazing guest and Robert so graciously dropped in today. Would you like to go first or second, Selena? Your call.
I'll go second because it's it's nice to kind of just get hooked
best
on
for
the vibe.
last. I like that.
Yes, absolutely. So what we're going to do is judges, we're judging in this first 3-minute segment how Robert connects with Eric in openness of listening, heart connection. And yes, we have like some logical thinking people here. We have some more emotional thinking people here. I always drop in this one brilliant distinction. I have the unique privilege of having served a client with our incredible team at Calgary Law to have the top jury verdict, I believe, in the last 10 years. It's certainly over the last 5 years, but I think the last 10 in Arizona. And in that case, we had an incredible judge in federal court who had rules about a lack of emotion in his courtroom. It's like, this is what it is. Stay on the podium. One of the most brilliant federal judges in the nation. I believe he was on the Civil Procedure Committee, running it for a number of years for the federal rules of civil procedure. And this incredible judge, as I saw things unfold over the course of time, as of course I know, was unbiased, incredible, phenomenal the entire time. At the same time, all human beings are moved by poles of emotion. And I don't mean emotion like crying, yelling, screaming, but I mean like vibrational energy towards a thing. And justice is an emotional concept. Like justice is emotional. Like it's not logical. We can say it's logical all day long. Like what's fair? Like fair is an emotion. It's not an objective measure, right? And I saw the unfolding at the end of the trial. The judge, who normally let the foreperson read the verdict, was flipping through and said, you know what? I think I'll read this, and looked at the adversaries. And in that moment, I knew that emotion is what drives all decision-making. Because in that moment of deciding to read that jury verdict, it was emotion that drove the desire to say justice was served and it's right and it feels good. And that's what my level 5 listening said. He didn't say it. That's what I felt and saw. I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't think I am. Emotion drives all decision-making, no matter how logical we claim it to be. So that's what we're assessing in the first round, is how open is the connection, how open is listening, and is something effectively put at stake? Robert, who would you like Eric to be?
I'd like him to be a thriving podcaster that wants to take it to the next level.
All right. That might be Eric. All right. So Eric, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Robert, 3 minutes. You hit an alarm with a minute to go, 30 seconds to go in a time. Take us in.
Eric, it's really great to see you. So Dimple told me about you. And first thing she said is this man has a face for radio. So I felt like I got to connect with him.
Grateful to connect. Dimple's a wonderful woman. I'm very excited to. I heard great things about you. She mentioned some, you had something to do with arcade. I don't know much about it, but arcade. Tell me more.
What did she tell you? What did she tell you about me? I'm just curious.
To be honest, she didn't say much. She just said that you had a really successful publishing company.
That's really cool. So I was listening to you and Dimple's podcast, and I thought that Dimple's, I think her energy on that podcast was really incredible. And I noticed how you interview in your interviewing style. And it occurred to me, it's like, I'd really like to connect with him because I worked on a bunch of different podcasts. And are you a fan of any of the big top 10 podcasts? Like, do you listen to Joe Rogan? Have you listened to any of those, like Ramit Sethi's I Want to Teach You to Be Rich, Tony Robbins?
Absolutely. I love them all. I've listened to a ton of them. And you've worked on some of them?
Yeah, I have, in fact. I think the curiosity came because your interviewing style works really well for growth. But I do notice sometimes when I'm watching shows that if I see that there's not a lot of comments going on in the feed, like that, there's usually some tweaks that have to happen to inside the show that really helps user growth and getting more reviews. So if you want to talk about that, that'd be something we can do if you're interested in it.
I'm curious to know, what could I have done better?
Well, I'm glad you asked. For $9.95 today only, you can learn how I have all these positive secrets. Now, I think that the major thing that occurred to me was the focus on what is your structure on how you get guests on the show. So I was working with Jordan Harbinger. Have you heard of his show, the Jordan Harbinger Show?
I sure have.
Yeah, so it's in the top. It's always in the top 25 of all podcasts in all of iTunes every month for the last couple of years. And when I started working with him on the show, we had zero listeners, and now every show has 4 million downloads, 3 million downloads. And I think what's cool about the structure that he employs, I feel like that's really that similarity where you have this really great interviewing style like he does. And I think it's the syntax of how you deliver the messages, how you introduce your people, but also the star power of who you can get on your shows. So I think that the one thing that I'd love to maybe sit down, maybe have a weekend with, you mentioned you love snowboarding and skiing. I happen to love snowboarding. I started when I was 12, and I've been half piping it, I think, up till I was 20. And I'd love to get back into it. So you think you would want to talk more about that and get together sometime?
Absolutely, but it's summertime right now. So how can we make that happen sooner rather than later?
Let's pause. We're going to bounce back with that answer in a moment. Excellent job, Robert. How did that feel for you?
Feel great. It feels great.
Yeah, no, awesome. Eric, if you had one word for the depth of connection and perhaps a number of what that connection felt like, what would it be?
I loved it because so one word would be just natural. Cool. And I felt definitely, because I'm, really into that space, he spoke to a lot of things that, how I always want to learn more about things. So he was very conscious of what I wanted to achieve to move forward. And he gave a lot of credibility about people that I've already been listening to or know about. So
yeah, awesome. Right. Great job, Robert. Okay, Selena, are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
Who would you like Eric to be?
I would like Eric to be Eric.
Nice. All right. 3 minutes, Selena. Please take us in.
All right. Hi, Eric. It's such a pleasure to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Oh, that's great to hear. I'm doing amazing too. Listen, I know we've never met before, and I know this is our first interaction. So I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. I'm an intuitive, I'm a healer, and I have this amazing ability to help people who are struggling with challenges find really unique, magical ways of coming into problem-solving solutions to make their lives 10 times, if not 100 times better. And I'm just looking at you, and of course, I have a desire to serve, and I'm wondering, is there any particular challenge that you're facing in your life right now that you feel like you could use some support with that comes from the other worlds?
Well, I think that I think it's fascinating that you're asking me that. And when it comes to other worlds, I think that we're so connected with all of these other worlds, or intuitively. But specifically for me, I've been working on a recent pattern that has continuously shown up for me, and it's been a pattern of relationships. So I was recently divorced a few years ago. I've had girlfriends. And I'm recently just have separated with my most recent girlfriend. And I'm recognizing that it has never been a relationship with them because the common denominator is this guy. So that's definitely a challenge that I have. And it's something that continues to I get curious about, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there for me to become a next or better version of myself.
Eric, that's so beautiful. I love how you take self-responsibility, and I love the way that you can acknowledge the patterns that are replaying in your life in different scenarios with different people. And I would love to have the opportunity to dive into your energy and see what some of the root of those patterns come from, and help you to transform that on an energetic level that will have an emotional, mental, and behavioral impact on you. Are you open to something like that?
Well, I'm curious, how do you do that? Can you explain?
That's a great question. So as an intuitive, I actually have the ability to meditate on what's going on with you specifically. I can have a full view of your chakra system and see what's going on in the relationship sector. And I can find out what some of your familial patterns are from your mother's side and from your father's side, and help to illuminate some self-awareness given the patterns that are taking place inside of your energetic body, to help you become self-aware and then create new programs for you using NLP tools.
Interesting. So I've done some of these practices before with different people, and I feel like it's very similar consistently with everyone. What makes you so unique?
Well, the beautiful thing about me is that I don't just work on a mental and a physical level, I work on a spiritual level. So if there's something that's actually sitting in your Akashic records from your ancestors that's recreating the same pattern over and over, I have the ability to jump into your Akashic records and clean out some of those systems so that they naturally impact your life without you having to put in any kind of physical work and affirmations into the process. So I do work a little bit more energetically than most people because of the way that I show up with my spiritual awareness. And it tends to work a lot faster. I find that I can get about 5 sessions worth of work done in one session with a client.
Awesome. Hey, Selena, Eric's going to take a quick call. He'll bounce back in a couple of minutes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And how was that for you, Selena?
It was interesting because I usually my clients or people that I speak to are very aware of what I do already. So it's kind of interesting to explain my work in this way. It's a good challenge.
Oh, great job. Excellent. Eric, how did that feel for you?
Felt good. One thing I felt was there were words that were being used that I didn't necessarily understand. For example, Akashic. I would have been something like that. So just something to be aware of, especially when you're explaining what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what I was saying, is the people that I work with know what that is. So it's a good challenge for me to think of different words to use. Thank you.
Well, awesome. So Adam Gugino, let's kick it off with you. We're going to go about 40 seconds of feedback, starting with Robert. What worked, what could have been optimized in 40 seconds, and then a score in 1 to 10. Please, Adam, take us in.
Yeah, Rob.
Remember, Adam, I sign the paychecks here, so
that's an unfair. Is there some kind of red flag I could throw, or some yellow something?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's just say this, Robert. You did incredible. I mean, especially for just stepping in. Your energy was. I mean, where is that energy when we're talking on it? It was just so.
Adam coming right back. That's awesome.
Yo, I mean, that was so much fun. I really loved it. I really loved the way you connected on with people that were clearly going to make an impact with Eric. I would have liked, just some more questions to engage and connect early on, but overall, just very natural, very authentic. Smiling the whole time. Even if you were not on camera, you could tell you could be able to tell you were smiling through the phone. A great job. I would have I would give you a 9.3 or 4, maybe even. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, nice. And for Selena, Adam.
So Selena, I mean, energy was great. great variance, great tonality, a little bit long in that first question. I would like shorter questions just to connect with Eric, but got him to open up pretty quickly. So definitely built some rapport. And he started to talk about his pain. So putting something at stake would have been, I felt, something she may have missed. I mean, he more or less put something for himself at stake, but I think she could have dove into that a little bit further, got a little deeper there to connect before she went into her heroic, unique identity and how she could solve the problem. I would have liked to have gone a little bit deeper there. Overall, I would have said 8.0.
Awesome, Adam. Roger, thank you again for being here. And yeah, what feedback do you have for Robert, please?
Well, I would second some of the things that Adam said, but one thing I would point out, and it kind of fits in with what I try to impress upon my students, particularly my research assistants, is in something like this, know your time constraint and get to the point immediately. And if we're writing things, for example, make sure the audience knows right up front what the issue is and why they should care about this, and get right to it. And I think that Adam's point was correct, particularly with respect to Selena. I like the connection, the interpersonal connection on both were really good. But given the time constraint that you're under, if you're under a 3-minute constraint, really boil it down as to what you want to try to draw out of the person and get to it. And so I sense that on both of the persons. I think the energy was good, the connection was good, it flowed well, the conversation was great, but just try to wrap it up a little bit better, get more concise, and get right to the point.
Awesome. And then did you have a score for Robert on a scale of 1 to 10?
Robert, I'd probably about 8.5.
Nice. And how about for Selena?
8.2, 8.3, around in there.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Roger. Corey, what'd you have for Robert?
Robert, I like that he asked a lot of questions. I think that's important when you can get the person talking. It allows you to understand a little better of where or how to maybe ask that next step. I like that he could connect with him on another level besides just work, saying, hey, we can snowboard or ski or whatever he said, and that they can tie those two together. I think that helped them create a little more camaraderie there. And if I had to score him, I would say it was about a 9. I think he made a connection. He asked some questions to get interest, and he got him to commit to saying, yeah, let's get together and look at this. So
awesome. Awesome, brother. And how would you have for Selena?
Selena did great. I thought for her to connect with somebody fast enough to say that I'm having problems in my relationship category, I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that her enthusiasm was great. But in some cases to slow down what she is saying, because like when you're using words that you may or may not understand from that field, especially with that enthusiasm, I was kind of myself kind of trying to find, out what you were saying. I get it. I think you connected well with him. I think you asked him for, the opportunity to work with him, which was important within that time frame. If I had to score you, I would say it would be an 8.5.
Excellent. All right. Great job, Selena, Robert. And by the way, thank you for your courage, your vulnerability. It's not nothing to be doing what you're doing, but you're also supporting the learning, the growth, and unlocking for all of us. Because as you sit there and you're going through it, we're like, wow, what would I do there? What's the distinction there? How do you connect more deeply? So great job. And this round 2, now it's like, who are you? Right? So we put something at stake a little bit. Selena and Robert began to seed that in round 1, but it's the rest of your story speaking into that. What's at stake for Eric? If it's not quite as deep at stake, maybe you want to reopen that a bit, and then moving forward to a yes, whatever that yes might be. It doesn't have to be like a buy of anything. It could be just for a longer meeting. It's like, how do humans connect, right? This is what gives rise to nations and ends nations, companies, businesses, legal cases, not like everything we do, marriages, making or not, how we influence one another in a heart-centered, authentic way. So that said, it is round 2. And Selena, are you ready to kick it off in this second round?
Okay, can you explain to me what round 2 is? Because I didn't know there was a round 2.
Yes, there is a round 2. You know what? Let's drop in with Robert. for round 2 first. Robert, would you mind going first again?
Sure, that sounds good.
Yeah, so it's taking it to the completion of the S by sharing a little bit more about who you are, what you do. So Robert, please take us in.
So Eric, that is a good point about it's not winter and when we do it. For some reason, I always have this vision in my head that it's always snowing in Canada. So I can relate about that. So I think what would be really cool. I love fishing. Not sure if you've been a fan of fishing. Do you fly fish at all? Have you ever done something like that?
I don't like to fish at all.
Okay, good, because that's exactly what I was saying I don't want to do is fly fish. But no, I was thinking it would be kind of cool maybe to plan like some sort of outdoor workout sort of thing. And I love flying. So I think if it's good for you, if you want me to come up, we should get together and we can talk about podcasting and talk about some more fun stuff like weightlifting, wrestling.
It'd be cool. Are you like, if you're really down, I love, going on the boat and, hitting up, maybe doing some surf behind the boat. We can do something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
As long as, I'm American, so as long as I have to bring some guns and we can shoot some stuff in the air.
Sure. I don't know if the border might let you. The border patrol might not let you pass. But
yeah. So no, I think it would be fun to do that. But then also, I love anything that Dimple does, as you know, with my relationship with Dimple, and I think that just collaborating on the podcast, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I love talking about audience reach. I love talking about podcast growth, and I feel like that this is just fun things to get together with and talk about. So if you want to do this, we can schedule something in like the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. So what specifically? I just like, I know that you have a lot of reach. You dropped like some really great names, but more importantly, I think it'd be important for me to like understand kind of like, I know the how will come, but like what exactly?
What exactly with that we would hang out and talk about?
Yeah. Like what specifically were you able to do for like Jordan or Joe or?
Great question. So the main focus on growth is like how to get star guests. Like that's the number one thing is like, how do you get access and how do you get them on your show? And I think that with you probably have a lot of people that you want to have on the show that you haven't been able to reach, or they don't respond, or they don't know what the criteria is for getting on the show. And I've been an expert at this, at getting people on shows, getting everyone from Kobe Bryant, Malcolm Gladwell, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, like these individuals that would always say, no, I'm not going to do an interview, to get them on a show. So I think that that's something that I think would be really meaningful for you to get those guests, because I think that that's something that would help you grow your show, but then also just more interesting people to talk to. So you have a lot of great, interesting people, but maybe there's people that you want to have access to.
I think that I've been really expanding out on my reach on like thought leaders and the people that I've been speaking to have been of a really creative and high caliber. My question to you though is, because that's not really my biggest pain point. My pain point reach your.
All right, awesome job, brother.
Bigger.
Yeah, you're getting a little.
Question.
I think I was Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris style right there.
So a little bit of internet dynamic. So Robert, excellent. How'd that feel for you?
It felt good. I think it's the mix between I have a relationship with Eric already, so I think that the question is like I go based off of what like the rapport level I already have with someone. So if I was meeting someone like new, if I was working with Roger, I wouldn't have the same banter, the same playfulness, because Roger is a different animal altogether. So I think that I'd build rapport based on, I would look him up. I'd probably read like a handful of his books, read the posts, and I have something to say that's intelligent towards what he's doing and what he's working on. Because it's like, if I can't add value, it's like, well, what's the point of, having this interaction if I can't be something that is interesting to the other person. So I think with Eric, if Eric is being a little bit different for role playing, I think it'll be a little bit difficult to connect on like what area I would take. So if this was the interaction where it is cold, I would approach it differently, and I would have like a much more structured of like, hey, please, share with me like what your biggest pain point is, because I would even want to know. It's like if I can even speak to what would help you.
Cool. Awesome. Excellent work. Selena, are you ready for round two? And this is about going from where you are, completing the conversation, to getting to a yes. Make sense?
Yep, I'm in. I'm ready.
All right. Thank you. Take us in.
All right, Eric. So I just want to start by thanking you so much for sharing about your desire to have more stability and create more long-term, healthier relationships for yourself. I think that's a beautiful goal to have. I would love to invite you into a 20-minute Zoom conversation where we get to play a little bit with some of the stuff that comes up for you. Don't worry too much about the Akashic records and the chakras and all the ways in which I go about things. I just want to offer you an opportunity to dive deeper into yourself and to reflect on aspects of yourself that you may not have noticed before. Is that something you'd be interested in entertaining?
I have so many great and amazing human beings in my life that are reaching out to me with so much love and appreciation. And I just, I feel like I would just want to understand a little bit more about, how you can really fulfill that bridge. Because, these people are people that I really trust and know. And we just met. So I'd love to know a little bit more about how you can help me. And because, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my own time.
Sure, I understand that. So I know someone really wise that said that emotion drives all decision making. And that when we come from a place of some hidden emotions, sometimes it's hard for the people that are closest to us to even see that in ourselves, because they might actually just be vibing with those same emotions. So often what I see is that the people in our networks are people that reflect our own energy and reflect our own vibration. And so when we have someone from the outside who has this ability to look at you from the outside in, they can potentially show you an angle or perspective that the people in your immediate network may not be able to see in you, because they themselves are struggling with the same thing. So the reason that I really just want to connect with you is not so much about wasting time or, having you sign up for anything, as much as it is just a playful experience to be able to reveal to you potential aspects of yourself that you may not know are there. And in all honesty, it's definitely not a waste of my time, because what I do is super fun for me. And I love your vibe. I love connecting with you. And I'm just really excited to have this opportunity to share what I can see.
So what do you see right now?
I see someone who is very sensitive and who is very, who definitely wants to have more love in his life, and who's definitely open to receiving more, but also somebody who has maybe a little bit of a shell on that doesn't want to reveal the vulnerable side of him.
Really? I think that I was pretty vulnerable, pretty much sharing my relationship.
I mean, in relationship. So you wanted to know about how you are in relationships. So that's what I tuned into there, is when you're in a relationship, I think there's an opportunity for you to reveal more of yourself.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, cool. So Selena, how'd that feel for you?
Good, I guess. Yeah.
All right, cool. Eric, how would you assess the last two connections with Selena and Robert?
So with Robert, again, I think that we were more playful, because I agree with what he said. Like, we already kind of have like a relationship, and we were able to kind of like just laugh and be playful. Selena, I sensed it was too quick with the like, let's get into a 20-minute conversation. Right into the intensity. So it put a little bit of my like blockers up. Like, what do you mean? And, the people want to get into a cell or something like this. So I felt, and then when she said that I need to be vulnerable, I felt like it was more of maybe not a way of like, maybe attack or something, because I felt like I was being vulnerable. So maybe it was a misunderstanding on my part, but I believe obviously it was, because that's what I made it mean. But that would be the feedback that I got.
So what's so powerful and amazing about what we do here together is the unveiling of how people think. It's like, wow, people think a lot. Malcolm Gladwell's work in Blink talks about the split second decision making that we make and I think what Eric's also speaking into is how connected we are to like not being convinced of something, not being sold on something. And this like wall, I call it default no, that exists. And how do we like take down the wall of default no, right? And we'll explore that just a little bit in a moment. So Adam, what do you have for Robert and Selena?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Robert. I don't know about you, Sean, but I'd love to see Malcolm Gladwell on the Real Raw next week.
I agree. We'll have Malcolm Gladwell here. Robert has promised he'll be here shortly. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So yeah, Robert, I think you took a step back only because that relationship that you talked about. Eric, you're connected to him, and you were just ready to jump right in. And in that sequence, I would have really liked to see your heroic, unique identity, like just what you've done, just a little bit of what the outcome was going to be for that meeting before. You were scheduling, and similar to asking a question, hey, do you like to fish? To yes or no, just open-ended questions, learning more to be able to set yourself up for success. Overall, still good job. Great energy. I would say 8.5.
All right. And for Selena?
Selena, very similar in just jumping the gun a little bit too soon in asking for, providing him with a yes or no, whether or not he wants to further the relationship without giving a reason, a real, either a story or her heroic, unique identity, her previous scenarios where she's helped somebody in this situation, tying it back to something that a pain point that she was going to solve for would have been good. But, overall solid job. I would say 8.0.
Excellent. Roger, what do you have for Robert and for Selena, please?
Well, on Robert, first of all, I was kind of confused at the beginning as to what the purpose of the meeting was going to be. So that kind of dovetails in with what Adam was saying. And I think he heard that question come back. Well, what we're going to do when we have a meeting? I was wondering the same thing. What is the point? And given that you already have some type of relationship already, I think you can get right to the point. Now on Selena, I like the idea of go right to the jugular to begin with. I understand the point of trying to establish more of a relationship there first, but I guess that's probably my personality more than anything right there. Keep in mind, I've been married over 31 years and I probably haven't had a 3-minute conversation with my wife in the last 30 years. And we don't even live in the same
Roger,
state.
I think Selena might want to talk to you about that. No kidding. We're just having fun.
We don't even live in the same state or in the same house. We have a home in Kansas, a home in Iowa. She lives there. I live here. So we've been married over 30 years and together probably about 3, which works well for us. But so that's the kind of person that I am. My time is so short, and when you're so focused on things, I don't want to chit chat. Just tell me what the issue is. What do I need to know, and why do I need to know it? And get out of here. But so I like that, but I understand the point of kind of getting to know each other first. So I'd say it was still a pretty good conversation. But again, that's probably my personality bleeding through.
So excellent job, Roger. And since we're like being direct to the point, dude, you're amazing. And that is, I talked about you 3 times since we last spoke. And I'm like, that dude should have 95,000 people working like for him, under him. And you should be like reached only for like the most seminal issues. This is my 2 cents. So you have all the time in the world, but I'm so impressed by you. And thank you for being here today.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Corey.
Yeah, for Robert, it was a little confusing. I think he was fishing, no pun intended, when he started that second part of the conversation. And then I think he kind of rallied towards the end to get him to, commitment. There was a little bit of loss of, to Eric's point, like what value were you bringing? What were you actually going to do for me? Maybe the relationship between you two, hindered that because you knew a little more about the other person than if it was somebody off the street. But I think it did way better towards the end than the beginning. I would say that was an 8. Selena. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for Selena. Yeah.
For Selena, I would say, you made a connection with him in the beginning, but I think walking him a little farther down what I would call a pain funnel to get him to agree that there was a need to continue a conversation. And then obviously asking for 20 minutes, being respectful of somebody's time, I think was valuable. Time's the only commodity you can't get back. So for most people, to block out a half hour, an hour, I think it was more practical for someone. So I think that was a pretty smart idea. But I think he was still struggling to figure out why he really wanted to take that 20 minutes with you.
Right.
But overall, I would say that was an 8.
Excellent. So Selena, can I drop in with you real quick? And we're just going to illustrate a quick point on like dealing with default no and opening things up. Can we role play for a moment? Selena?
Sorry, sure.
Yeah, cool. So how about I be you? And you're also Selena, but like I'll just be you, Selena, for a sec. And
Okay.
you're a Selena who knows nothing about your work. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Selena, thanks so much for chatting. I really appreciate all that you're up to in the world. I understand that you're in the space of coaching and developing humans. And like, yeah, like how'd you get into all that?
It's just something that I've been really passionate about since I was a young kid, and I really enjoyed working one-on-one with people. I had my first business at 16 when I was a math tutor, and I've just been really connected to helping all kinds of people since in different ways.
Wow. And what caused you to get into business at that age? Like a lot of kids are just hanging out, having fun. Like what was the impetus to that?
I grew up in a family of both my parents were entrepreneurs and go-getters, and I watched my parents just get really passionate about their own unique businesses, and I wanted to have my own.
Cool. And so like, what are you up to now in the world? And like, where's all this headed? Like, I know you're coaching, you're training, like what's going great and where's it all headed?
Yeah, I'm actually one of the most exciting things right now is I'm on the council for the International Academy for Universal Self-Mastery, and we're creating an online platform for faculty all over the world to come with their online courses to help students learn about things that they can't learn about in school to help them become better people.
Oh, that's outstanding. And how's that all going for you?
It's awesome. It's so much fun, and I love the people I work with, and we're having a blast and getting creative.
Cool. So listen, I know we only have like a minute to go. Is it okay if I share a little bit about me?
Sure.
Yeah. So just again, want to acknowledge like your intentionality, your energy is like resonates like crazy. And I'd love to spend a little bit of time getting to know each other better. The work that I do is in the space of supporting people with their energy, their relationships. And it's definitely unique to say the least. I believe that we can read people's energy. I believe that we can support people in seeing things that they don't see. And that's what I'm up to in the world. And so as you're on your journey, as I'm on mine, I'd love to see if there's things we could do to co-create together. And what I mean by co-create is, I don't know, are there people that I know that should meet you, that you know? Perhaps we can, do some joint speaking engagements and that sort of thing. I have no idea if that makes sense for either of us, but I really love your energy. And you're like a very unique person. Like you just vibrate differently. So if that would make sense for you, I'd love to have a longer conversation.
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, so pause. Like, how did that feel for you, Selena?
Yeah, a lot more open, a lot more relaxed, a lot more in flow, a lot less targeted, a lot more general.
That's the word. Like it's our intention, right? So like targeted, right?
Yep.
Like, so you're not like your energy and the work that you do is phenomenal. You resonate. And I've been teaching this for 23 years, right? And so whether we're selling legal, professional, accounting, engineering, real estate, in a courtroom with a judge, or connecting as two humans selling coaching, training, development, counseling in any way, the key that or merging ecosystems, creating strategic alliances, the key dynamic is that we're authentically coming to add value and serve. And you totally are. There's no doubt in my mind in your communication with Eric, you know that what you do can have an impact. Is that a fair, accurate statement?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think what we can step into sometimes psychologically is the idea that we may be stepping into like their frame. Like this person might be thinking I'm a salesperson. Like, how do I get around that? And my sole input is come heart-centeredly, open listening, like let's put something at stake, share who we are, and then specifically ask. I love Roger's feedback about directness. And we can build rapport and still have an intent of directness in it and open up listening. And just remember, you're not taking anything. You're adding massive value. Nobody's a target. You're not pitching, you're not hooking, you're not closing. You're just opening people's eyes to your value, having them step into theirs, sharing and seeing where it goes with intention. That's all. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, did a great job. So how was today for you, Selena?
Sorry?
I said, how was today for you on the Real Raw?
Okay, sorry, there's just noise going on upstairs, so this is cutting in and out. Yeah, today was great. I learned a lot. I took a lot of notes. I think I have a lot of ways in which I can start to see things and speak things in ways that are definitely more congruent with the people that I'm about to be connecting with. So
yeah, that's the key. It's like what you resonate, and we move into like asking to have an agreement. It doesn't turn you into a salesperson. Like you're never a salesperson. You're there adding value and connecting. That's it. So thank you. Corey, how was today for you, sir?
It was awesome. It's always, I always look at it as an opportunity to improve. And when you get, like-minded people together that are all looking to, achieve their goals, you can get little nuggets of truth, here and there. This is, a new idea of this whole Unblinded thing. So I figured I would come on and see, what I could bring for value and how I can learn some things myself.
Well, you added value with your time, your energy, sir, and thank you very much. And finally, Roger, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And how was today for you?
Oh, my pleasure. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed hearing the interaction and providing some feedback and learning some things in the process.
You certainly added value today, sir. And Eric, Robert, Adam, great job. Thank you all. And thank you for, I know we went over a little bit. Have a beautiful Why Wednesday. And you know what? We're all blind and just learning to see. Thanks.